Hi, it's Fern, and I'm going to share with you how I got into modelling here in Melbourne, Australia. So I started getting interested in modelling back when I was in university. I went to a casting for a runway show and I got to walk for a couple of independent brands and also for some more bigger brands as well, like Country Road. And that sort of got me really interested in modelling and sort of exploring how I can take it more seriously. In this video, I will share how I got into the modelling industry here in Melbourne and sort of the steps I took to get there, but also just highlighting that this is my own experience and also noting that I am by no means a modeling professional. I'm not a seasoned model or anything. This is just purely my experience doing modeling as sort of like a fun side project or a side hustle that I do. Ideally, I would love to do modeling full-time. It's something that I really enjoy. However, I'm also quite realistic with sort of my expectations and how I pursue modeling alongside my other work and my personal life as well. So the first thing I would really recommend if you are going to get started in modeling is to start building up your portfolio. And that could be things like doing test shoots, getting your digitals taken, applying for events and stuff that pop up in your area. So before I moved to Melbourne, I actually lived in Canberra, which is the capital city of Australia. It's a really beautiful place, but it's also quite small in terms of its fashion industry. I was very lucky to do a couple of runway shows back when I lived in Canberra. There was a model casting that happened a few years back and I applied. It was for a couple of runway shows. So during that time I walked for a couple of independent designers and then also for Country Road, which was really exciting. And I think having the photos from that and then meeting people, designers, makeup artists and other models really helped me get connected into the industry, and in a sense it was kind of like my foot in the door. Obviously I realize that that's such a privileged opportunity to have. If you don't have that opportunity, one thing I really recommend is start getting your digitals taken and sort of building up a portfolio of photos to showcase your work and also showcase how you pose and how you move behind the camera and how you present yourself in different scenarios. So for me, when I then moved to Melbourne, which is obviously a lot bigger and there's a bigger creative industry here, I took some digitals. So in the modeling industry, you would normally take digitals to showcase sort of you in your natural state. With digitals, I highly recommend just doing it with a simple point and shoot camera or your mobile phone. And usually it's just like a head shot, a side shot, full body shot, and like a 3/4 shot. And I'll insert some of my examples right now. Once you get your digitals taken, you can use that to start applying to modeling agencies, or you can also book test shoots. With test shoots, it's usually a situation where a photographer wants to build their portfolio of photos and then you as a model want to build your portfolio as well. And you meet up and essentially they take photos of you and you get free photos out of them. So the beauty with these test shoots is that they can be a bit more creative compared to doing digitals. So with digitals, as I mentioned before, you're just taking photos of yourself in your natural state. So brands can see how you look and how they can, I guess, use you in their campaigns and stuff. But with a test shoot, the photographer might have a creative vision or creative direction in mind. You might have a creative direction in mind as well. And you can sort of come together and have a bit more fun with it. So some of my test shoots have been in very different concepts. So I've had more fun and playful shoots and ones that are more serious. And I'll insert some of them here for you to see. Once you've got your photos, whether they're digitals or photos from your test shoots with other photographers, you can then start applying for different modeling agencies. Now, this part here, I will stress that it can be very disheartening, and all I can say is don't take it to heart and just enjoy the process. So for me, I applied for quite a few modeling agencies. So some quite big, some a bit more smaller and more boutique, and you just have to keep going and trying. So I would submit my photos and include things like my Instagram account as well, so they can see how I pose in like a natural photo. The other thing that I also recommend is creating a portfolio site for yourself. And this is optional, but it's something I did. So I created a modeling portfolio website with my own work, and I did it through Canva, which is fantastic. You can create a free account, and using Canva, you can post your photos there and set it up to look kind of like a mock website. And it's just a really good way for modeling agents to see your past work, and you can include things like your contact information, your social media handles, all the important information that you want a modeling agency to know about you. Once you start applying, hopefully, fingers crossed, you do hear back from one of the modeling agencies, but if not, just know that freelance models are also very, very prominent in the industry. But let's say you do get a modeling agency that reaches out to you and they decide to sign you on. That process can be really fun, but I also recommend reading the contract as well. So depending on the modeling agency, they might take a certain percentage out of every job that you book. Once I found my modeling agency that was happy to sign me on, I started getting bookings, and that takes a while as well. So with my agency, they decided to book me into a couple of test shoots with different concepts, and we took those photos, and slowly but surely you start booking jobs. Now, depending on where you live and what type of model you are, I guess, your jobs can be quite seasonal. So for me, one thing that was mentioned to me was that with my look, I'm quite thin and I'm very tall. So a lot of my shoots that I've done have been very much like erring more into that sort of like serious vibe. So it just really depends on the type of model that you are as well. So the last point I really want to make is that when you're going into modeling, you have to really figure out how you want to approach it. There's no right or wrong approach. So for me, I approached modeling knowing that it will be very seasonal and I might not be booked every single time. I have a very, very amazing career in, I guess, the other side of my life that I really enjoy, and modeling is also something I really enjoy as well. And I balance the two worlds, I guess. And that's sort of how I approach it. I have my full-time job and then my creative job being my modeling. And that's something that you really have to think about as well when you're going into it is, do you want to do it full-time, or are you gonna do it as like an additional source of income on top of your current job? With this is all my experience and how I got into it. I feel like, everyone's experiences will be different. So if you enjoy modeling, if you enjoy fashion, go on that journey yourself, but make sure that you're doing it for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content around things like fashion, real estate, investing, or just any of my other general interests, definitely check out my other content and also my other social media accounts as well. Definitely hit subscribe if you do want to see more of this stuff, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.